So the Manor Lords first patch is finally here for pre-release. I'm really excited for this. There's a lot of good changes. But before we dive into those, if you do want to play this pre-release patch, you're going to have to go over to Steam. You're going to need to right-click Manor Lords, go to Properties, go to the Betas tab, type in very nice basket, check code, opt into the pre-release. It's now up here. Make sure you have it selected up here. You then need to wait for your game to update. So this is now updating. Once this is updated, you'll be able to play the new patch, and let's dive in. So first up, we have the rate of Hildebolt's claims. This is definitely something I experienced. It kind of shocked me initially just how quickly Hildebolt was claiming all of the other territories. It left us very boxed in. So I'm really happy to see that this is really slowing down. The famous nun people spawning in huge numbers and refusing to do any work, and clogged trading posts. Not something that I've experienced personally, but I have seen quite a few people posting about the trading post issues, so I'm really glad that that is going to get fixed. The game being stuck at the summary screen after a victory or game over. I haven't got to that point yet, hopefully soon, but that's also a very good fix. Very weak archer damage. This is definitely something that people have been complaining about on Discord. I think this is going to be a really good change. I'm glad that they've significantly increased it. This is really going to make a big difference on the battlefield. We've also got something that I'm really glad has been fixed. I know it's a small thing, but inefficient Sawpits, which triggered generic storage full problem banners. This is something I have had a lot, especially in my Let's Play videos, so I'm really glad that that's being fixed. So we can see here that the Sawpit now has 5 maximum capacity for log storage. That's really going to help stop that notification popping all the time. Another one that people have definitely been talking about is the overly high ale consumption. People have been using the tavern trick to simply have 1 ale in your tavern, pause it, take the people out, and that will hit your ale requirement for surrounding burgages. So I'm glad people are probably no longer going to be needing to use that. So if we look into the details, we can see we have reduced ale consumption by 75%, which is really significant. I'm really glad that they've changed it that much, because barley was just not efficient enough to be keeping up with the production that we needed for larger towns. So that's definitely another great change. And next up, we have a really nice quality of life upgrade for the trading posts. Each item now has a checkbox where you can toggle to allow foreign trade. So if you just want to trade between the regions on the map and not use the free merchants and trade points, that's a really useful way of sort of micromanaging your trade. Also to note, trade-related development branches were nerfed drastically because players argued that the game became too easy. I have seen people talking about that. I haven't tested this yet, but I will test that out to see just how drastic that nerf actually is. A new really interesting feature that they've added is the Mourning Period. So when people in your village die in combat, that burgage that they live in will go into a mourning period of 30 days after combat. And this is going to stop growth during that period. So this could be quite impactful after large fights. This might change people's approach to combat and war in general. I'm really interested to see actually how much that affects your town supply and general efficiency after large-scale fights if you do lose quite a lot of troops. And they've also added this visual representation, this animation of your villagers carrying the corpses, which is pretty crazy as well. So the retinue have got some visual upgrades as well. Not included in this, but something I would like to see is something over here just to see which of these in your retinue have already been upgraded. Maybe just a little icon change, maybe a number next to it, or just split this out into like rank 1 or rank 2. That would just give us a really good idea of how strong our retinue is. So another new feature that we have is the King's Tax, also known as the Royal Tax. This is something that is going to have to be paid once per year and is going to come out of your treasury. So I've just done a really quick playthrough here, and just to see what the royal tax is like. So I don't currently have a manor up yet, and this royal tax is due in 103 days. So I think this is going to change the way early gameplay is working a little bit. It's going to push people towards getting that manor up and ready. I'm also quite keen to see what happens if we don't pay this. So I'm fast forwarding here. We only have 2 days left until this annual royal tax needs to be paid. So we have failed to pay our annual royal tax, and we are now in negative treasury money. We haven't lost any influence or any king's favor here, which I'm quite surprised about. And the amount has gone up, and the days left to collect is now another year. So not really any major negative influence there, I don't think. You do lose the money regardless of whether you have it or not. The patch notes did say that perhaps an army will show up if you continue to not pay it, so I'll continue to see if that is the case. But for now, I think this is just more of a way to stop people gathering so much money in their treasury that they can easily afford a lot of things like mercenaries and retinues. So that's just a quick overview of the current patch notes. I don't think all of these will make it into the full release. There are quite a few experimental things in here, but overall I think these are really, really good changes. Greg has clearly been working extremely hard and listening to the community since the early access launch, so that's a really, really good sign. I'm looking forward to seeing more from Manor Lords in the future and lots more videos from me to come. So stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.